culture, right? That's a big thing that came up this week a lot. And being so new, what's it like being able to sort of set that culture?
We've been growing quickly, but at the same time, we've been able to hire to culture, and we've been hiring new, young technicians, but our whole hiring process is based around our core values and our culture for our business, so that everyone that we're bringing on has those key things so that even though we're all different, we're all individuals, we all kind of get along because we have, similar characteristics and similar things like that.
Welcome into the Independent Thinking Podcast. This is your host, Rob Stott. Still feel like I'm recovering from my time in Nashville with Hank Alexander and our Oasys residential technology group. They're out there for the Oasys Summit, the first ever Oasys Summit. But last week we had Hank on the podcast, and we're continuing the coverage, if you will, of that summit. And when we get the chance to get together with members, especially like our prime times, twice a year, we like to be able to have the opportunity to sit down with some of those members and chat with them, see how business is going. And as much as I love the Zoom interviews and things like that, but no better way to sort of have those conversations than face-to-face. And that's what we did with a relatively new, not only new Oasys member, but new custom integrator in AV Imagined up there just outside the Detroit area in Michigan. Lawrence Walters, co-owner there of AV Imagined, was with us in Nashville, gaining all the knowledge and doing the networking with other members and our vendor partners there at the summit. But took the time, a very unique situation, being such a new integrator, to be able to talk to him about what it was like, him and his partners getting together to launch the business. And they got a pretty aggressive growth plan that we dive into during this conversation. But I just need to see their perspective on the industry, how they're going about attracting new clients and serving clients in their area. And obviously, being a home theater and focusing on outdoor and things like that, they're taking a unique approach to this business. And being so new, as we talk about as well, the opportunity to kind of innovate in this space. So lots to bring to the table. And, I think I had more fun, diving into his business in the background than he might have, being on the podcast. But it was a good time there at the summit, and appreciate the opportunity to get to talk to Lawrence. So this is AV Imagined, Lawrence Walters, co-owner up there, here on the Independent Thinking Podcast.
All right, we're back on the Independent Thinking Podcast, coming to you right now from the Oasys Summit in Nashville, Tennessee. A neat opportunity to get face-to-face with some of our CI members here. Lawrence Walters, AV Imagined, up in Michigan, right?
Yes, in the Detroit area. Yes.
Okay,
yep.
So that's Lower Peninsula, correct?
Yes, it is.
All right, but still like close to Canada.
Yeah.
Can you see it from out your window in your office?
Not from our office, but some days you're not too far from Canada. Yeah.
That's awesome. But like south, right? Like Canada's south of you, which is
both. Yeah, it's east
right?
and south. Yeah.
That's so disorienting to me.
Yeah.
But no, well, we appreciate you taking the time. Owner over there at AV Imagined.
One of the owners, yeah.
Yeah. Appreciate you. First of all, being here with us in Nashville. This is awesome to be able to get together. What's the couple days been like for you? We'll start here at the summit.
It's been great. I mean, it's we've been trying to kind of find our way a little bit with the group. We're new to Nationwide since August of last year. So this is our first Oasys Summit, but also our first time, whether it was HTSN or Oasys, it was kind of our first time as sort of a standalone meeting.
Yep.
And it's been really fun. It's been good.
That's all. Well, new to the group, but also what I love, new business too. We've been talking a couple times here this week, particularly during our scavenger hunt last night.
Yeah.
Had a good time getting to learn a little bit about your business and. Give a little background on yourself. We'll dive into your business in a second, but background on yourself and sort of how you got to AV Imagined and what's going on there.
Yeah, so I've been kind of in AV since just out of high school. I worked at Best Buy for a few years while I was in college, doing, selling TVs and stereos and things like that. And then I got out of college in 2008, found a job with an integrator that basically delivering televisions out of college because I kind of came out of college right at the downturn, right when we hit that last recession. So just finding work was difficult. So I delivered TVs for them for a while. Things slowed down so much that eventually got to a point where I went and worked for Best Buy again, and then I hired back with that integrator for sales, and I was there for 10 plus years. And then I went to another integrator as their sales and marketing manager, where I met a few of the people that I'm with now. And we launched AV Imagine. So it's kind of an interesting, like we've kind of had different stopping points, but different, just different parts of the industry and kind of seen from different perspectives.
One word there, but like one word kind of undersells sort of what you guys have done. Launched, right? You launched this company. What's it? A lot of cojones, right? Go out on your own and start a business. So talk about, the process of getting to the point where y'all came together and felt like, okay, this is something we can do.
No, so I think what with AV Imagine, what was kind of interesting was that all of the partners that make up AV Imagine, none of us would have jumped and started our own business solo, right? Yeah. So like the idea of starting a business from scratch on your own, and looking at building something that that's very scalable and that can grow quickly and become this this great thing. We had myself. I have a sales and marketing background. My business partner, Andrea, she's got a CFO background, is very business
she's taking care of them books.
Yeah, but also all of the processes and business development, all the things that we really needed to structure the business and kind of build a great foundation. And then our other two partners, Corey and Andy. Andy's our engineer and our chief technology officer, and really make sure he vets anything that we have as an idea of a technology we want to jump into, a product that we want to jump into. Really good, good experience and a really good mind for, making sure that we're picking the right products. And then Corey, our operations manager, has 25 years both in the alarm space and in the integration space as a technician, and has held a lot of different seats. So he's been integral in training our new staff and bringing up the next generation of technicians. So it's kind of cool having the four pillars of of the industry within one company. It's also allowed us to grow very quickly over the last little time.
You're making the segues here awesome, because my next follow-up is going to be about the growth. I know one of the things we've been talking about is sort of how you guys you launch, but you have a really aggressive plan, and I almost need really to grow quick, right? Like that's sort of what you're at the outset, the mindset was.
So,
for you guys.
So that's something that makes us a little bit unique, is that we built AV Imagine as a growth model business. And then the first year we really had to set up the organization, had to get, our processes in place, sort of build out our infrastructure, build out our showroom, build out our warehouse, kind of have the operation in a good place to then start to grow. But now that we've got it set, we're starting to bring in now more and more technicians. We're starting to bring in salespeople, and the business is ready to just keep going, and it's been really, really cool.
Yeah. Obviously, you like to see the fast growth. Any hurdles or things like that you guys? And as a really a startup company, right?
Yeah.
So a lot of those growing pains, I'm sure. But what are some of the big challenges that you guys have had to face early on that you're sort of tackling?
The obvious one is with a startup is always cash. It's cash flow and cash. Sure. We built it to grow quickly. We did a really good job of, Andrea especially built out Performa, where we had a really good idea of how much funding we needed, and at what points we needed additional injections, and to try to keep things going. Sure. The hard part was not knowing, how much, not having a pipeline, and not knowing how much business you're going to have, and not knowing where your clients are coming from. So, the ups and downs of those first, few months and the first year or so of trying to build a pipeline, get clients calling, get the phone ringing, get your referral partners in place. That was probably one of the biggest challenges, and it's still our constant challenge that we're kind of fighting through right now. So.
And you mentioned the pipeline. Another thing we've talked about is sort of how you guys are taking a real unique approach to that too in your market, right? So you talk about some of the things. The one thing I love that you said is that there's a lot of, there's integrators out there that are busy, that their pipelines may or for better or worse are full, can't take on new jobs, and there's some clients in your market that you were talking about that have a need, they still have needs. They need to get these projects done and things like that. So talk about your approach to sort of the type of client you're going after.
Yeah, so the big thing for me is it's relationships and it's experience, right? And if we can, deliver a better experience for our clients, I'm all for that. Yeah. But what I'm finding is that there's a lot of clients that maybe over the last couple of years they built a new home, or they've invested in these systems, but they're now they're kind of underserved in the ongoing, upgrades, or the ongoing, like, hey, I'm doing a renovation, or I've got this next project. And we're finding that if we can deliver a really great experience to those people, it's quicker. The turnaround is much quicker, so it's helping us with cash flow, helping us keep things going. But it's also leading to more referrals and more business and higher customer satisfaction too, because now we've got projects that we're flipping over in a matter of a couple of weeks or a month, rather than a year and a half. And it's a lot easier to lay out expectations for a project and deliver on those expectations.
Yeah, well, and the thing I love too is that you're kind of you're filling a gap, right? It's an area where another firm sort of had the opportunity, like, hey, this is a client that they already have that. Simple phone call, right? To your point, relationship building, and it's being there for them and being that, that go-to resource for them for their integration needs. So the fact that you're able to just step in there and sort of fill that need. Is
and one of the hardest, one of the biggest challenges I've found, going out and doing business development and networking and meeting new people is people's understanding of what our industry is very minimal, and you spend a lot of energy sort of explaining what your company does and how you can serve your client and like what type of experiences you offer. But when you find these clients that are already familiar with a business like yours, or that's been served by an integrator before, you're fighting a lot less of an uphill battle, and it's a lot easier to then gain trust and offer solutions and give them an experience, and they're a little more familiar with how the process works and what you're going to be doing and that sort of thing.
Is there anything you guys are doing that you think is unique or different from just whether it's the go-to-market or I mean anything at all? The one thing you think that sort of stands out, being new, you kind of have that ability to sort of be innovative, right? And try things and as you're looking to grow quick. So is there one thing that you've seen that's worked really well or some sort of thing you're working on?
I think building a great foundation of process and building out, it's the idea that so basically one of the things that we do is we keep fractionally hiring out services that generally would burden a business, right? So like one of the first things that we did when we started our company was hire a managed IT company to handle all of our back end for our email and for our internal server and internal communications, handling all of our technology needs so that we don't have that burden and we don't have to think about it. So that there's a lot of things that are happening behind the scenes that just go, right? And whether it's our website or our IT or whatever it is, HR is another thing that we fractionally hired to just keep things moving and not burden us or not bog us down too much, that we're free to kind of keep performing, right? And
like the term that comes to mind is efficiency, right? And that's sort of, I feel like, to bring it back to the summit this week, a lot of what we heard from in between the one-on-ones with the speakers, from whether it was Jason or Matt that were here talking about business process and building out, whether it's the business plan, the roadmap and things like that of the customer journey, and but just having that plan and finding those areas of efficiency. And that's sort of neat to see that's something that you guys are working on too.
And, every business has, talented people, and it's all about trying to free those talented people up to do the thing that they're really talented at. Yeah. And also like letting them, like if you find someone that has a specific skill or a specific need, like something that they can really benefit your business, finding a way to relieve them from other responsibilities to allow them to do the thing that they're really great at, to really because that's what's going to accelerate growth and it's going to accelerate your business. It's also going to create better culture because you don't have people that feel like they're being underutilized and that sort of thing. So that's been something that's been a really big just driver for us, where we're trying to make sure that as we hire a culture, that culture that we're building, everyone feels like they have a place, and if they have those skills, we want to make sure that those skills are being utilized.
Well, that's the C word, culture, right? That's a big thing that also came up this week a lot. And being so new, what's it like being able to sort of set that culture and define what it's going to be for you guys?
Honestly, it's been great. I mean, one of the things, we've been growing quickly, but at the same time, we've been able to hire to culture, and we've been hiring new, young technicians that are basically inexperienced. They're either, very little or no experience in our industry. But our whole hiring process is based around our core values and our culture for our business, so that everyone that we're bringing on has those key things, so that even though we're all different, we're all individuals, we all kind of get along because we have kind of similar, similar characteristics and similar things like that. So it's been really fun watching this like next generation of technicians sort of. So we actually have 4 new technicians that we've got guys at different stages. We've got 2 that are about a year in, one that's 6 months in, and one that's in his first 90 days. But it's really neat to see these guys kind of grow and that sort of thing.
No, that's awesome. Yeah. Well, last question for you, because we got an event to get back to. I don't want to keep you from, but what's something that what's next right now? I know there's a lot of things that you could identify, that areas you got to go and move into, whether it's on the like product you're doing, things like that. But what's one area you're focusing on right now that you think is most important, for your next step?
Yeah, so I mean, we've had kind of both product. So within AV Imagine right now, we're at the point where we're trying to accelerate our growth by hiring sales now. Yeah. So we built out the infrastructure. Now we're filling those seats and now starting to expand the sales teams and also the technical staff. So we're trying to grow very quickly that way. On the product side of things, I mean, we had a really great meeting with Kaleidolite this week, and we definitely see lighting as a category that has a lot of potential for growth for our industry, but also for our individual business, and trying to figure out where we fit in the lighting, like the spectrum of lighting, like where does our business fit, and where are the opportunities, and sort of trying to grow on that end of things.
And I know that could be a whole nother podcast with you. We'll probably have to circle back on that, because I know you guys are doing some really interesting things there that we'll let you get into it and figure it out, and then we'll talk about it. But no, Lawrence, we appreciate it. Need to have you guys here. Awesome to have you as part of Oasys, and look forward to continuing to follow your growth story along the way. So thanks for joining us, and till the next summit.
Absolutely. Thank you so much.
You bet.
All right.
Awesome, and thanks again to Lawrence. Like I said, a fun conversation, unique in the sense that they are such a new integrator, in a space that there are so many ways to go about this business. But to get his perspective and see how they're sort of approaching it, and not just approaching it, but really, like I said at the top, aggressively trying to grow and expand the business through various efficiencies and things like that. So a unique opportunity for him at the summit, and for us as well, getting to know him and their business. So. Appreciate that, and as always, appreciate you listening to the Independent Thinking Podcast, and we'll catch you next time.